Now, I know you saw the thumbnail. I know you saw it. And you're probably thinking, what is he talking about? Attack body's great. You know, everybody's been saying it. Don't worry. Let me tell you something. I think I was wrong. I think everybody else might have been missing something. So let's talk about it. What's going on, YouTube? Leisure here once again. This time at you again with some more Honkai Star Rail. And whoo-wee, man, it's still time to talk about the baby girl Kafka. Mother is around the corner and people are scrambling trying to figure out what's the best way to build it. What's the best thing to do? How do we build it? We build it with attack body? Do we build it with crit body? What do we do? Do we do break effect? What's going on here? All right. And I'm here to tell you the answer to that question right there, because I've done the math. I've done it out. I broke out the trusty calculator, brought up the equations and everything like that, and came to find out with an answer for you. So let's talk about that answer here. You know, we've been getting some information on Kafka. You know, we have an idea of what she does when it comes to her techniques, her basic attacks, her talent, her skill, and all of that, right? Her ultimate and everything. So we're going to be using all these different aspects of her kit in order to try and optimize the damage that she gives out. What is going to benefit her most when it comes to her build? Because I was one that was sold on the fact, like I didn't even think about it, that attack body, no matter what, is the way to go. And that makes sense because she uses dots, right? The main focus that she has is to do dots and proc them. Proc other people's dots, proc her own dots, and then you're good to go there. And since dots can't crit, it only makes sense that you don't worry about crit when it comes to her, which is really viable, I must say. But is it the best way? Well, now that's a question right there. Because I didn't think much of it. I always thought of attack percent body. But then I saw a video from content creator Gotcha Smack, and I looked at his video, and he said that crit might be a good way to go about it. Now, I decided, you know what, let me try and figure this out myself, right? Because sometimes when you listen to people without thinking about it, you know, you end up go down the wrong road. Because not everybody's perfect. Not everybody's going to give every single piece of information correct, no matter how great a mathematician they are, no matter how great a theory crafter they are. There's going to be at some point where they might be wrong. And that's okay, especially before a character comes out as a recipe for being wrong. Which is why, even with me saying this with certainty, that, you know, we always got to wait till the character comes out, see the testing, because there's a lot of variables when it comes to these games. Trust me, when I'm doing the math, I'm trying to think of all these different situations, and there's always something new that comes up, right? So there's so many variables that playtesting is going to be the best way to truly figure out the correct answer. And we can't do that right now because she's not out yet. But based on the numbers, we have a pretty good idea of what it's going to be. Since I don't do math too often, I didn't have the Excel sheet ready to go where I could plug in the numbers. So I had to do this the hard way, of course. So a lot of this is going to look gibberish to a lot of you guys, which is fine, of course. But some of you guys know the math. You might be able to pick out a little bit of what I'm doing, right? Because right now, I'm basically took a scenario where a level 80 Kafka with her light cone is going against a level 90 Cocolia solo with a level 8 talent. And I basically took that and I tried to see, okay, so how well is she going to perform if she's using her skill that can crit versus, and with the DOT, versus her that doesn't crit and uses an attack body to get the extra damage from the DOT. And I tried to see which one's going to do better. And my conclusion that I came out with was that at the end of the day, with a well-built Kafka, crit is going to do more damage, all right? Now, that doesn't make sense. Why would that be a thing? Why would crit be better if her multipliers are so low? That doesn't make sense. Well, I'm telling you, it does make sense. Because if you look at Kafka right here, this is the build that I have ready for her right now. For me, I'm going to be using attack body on her, just to be transparent with you guys. I'm going to be using an attack body. Well, actually, and I'll explain why. But first, let me explain why crit will work better. So we have a lot of different sources of attack when it comes to Kafka, right? When it comes to building her, besides the actual body itself. If we look at the set she's using the lightning set right here. And if you use a skill, which you should be using all the time, you're gonna get 20% attack. Some people are gonna be using the 2-piece speed set, that's fine. You know, you still have other sources of attack, right? But I'm going to be using the 4-piece set right here because I want the attack, right? And I'm gonna be using a hostile with her. she's gonna get plenty of speed. She gets 20% attack from that. Of course, she's gonna get attack from the gloves right here. Maybe you might be able to get a substat on the if you do crit. If you decide to do crit right there, maybe you might get a substat on there or not. But let's just assume that we don't. But hopefully you get some substats somewhere on her. Right? You're gonna be using a lightning sphere. And then you're going to be using an attack rope. This says break effect right here. Don't worry about that. My break effect is, my attack rope is looking kind of rough right now. I'm trying to get another one. I mean, you could do break effect on her, but then you definitely want to be using an attack body. But, that's another conversation, right? But we're going to be using attack rope on her. That's going to work best, okay? You're going to be getting attack from the attack rope also, okay? And then you're going to be getting 24% attack from the space ceiling station, right? So there's that, and then that's the stuff those are the sources of attack that I use in my calculations. But then you can also get attack from using something like Fleet of the Ageless on your support units, at least one of your support units. I'm probably going to be using Bailu with her, so I'm going to be using Fleet of the Ageless and getting another 8% right there. So you do have the different sources of attack, right? So when the 43% attack that you're losing out on from the body isn't as big, because when it comes to attack, as we don't know, the more attack you get, the more diminishing returns it has, and that's how it works when it comes to the dots. So if we look at my calculations here, right? Basically, I came to find out that the amount of damage you gain from critting versus the amount of damage you lose out when it comes to doing dots, you end up gaining more damage even though her multipliers are low when it comes to personal damage. But we're not going to be critting all the time. We're not going to have 100% crit rate. So it's not as straightforward as you think. So when you think, okay, well, how much crit rate versus crit damage do I need in order to guarantee that I'm going to be doing more damage with a personal damage? And that figure that I came up with is about 60% crit rate to 120% crit damage, right? Even if you account for the fact that the DOT is going to proc again when the enemy is about to go and there is no striking involved from Kafka, the amount of damage that you get from critting still outdoes that extra damage that you do get from proccing a DOT before the enemy goes. So crit build when she's min-max is just going to be better in that situation. So if you have a good ratio of at least that, right, like, within that range, right, then you're going to be noticing that you're going to be doing better. And that is why, for me, I'm going to be starting out with an attack body, because I don't have good enough stats to maintain a good enough crit rate and crit damage to outdo the attack body. So it's not so much that the attack body is better or the crit body is better, it's what you have the resources to do. But a min-maxed a Kafka that has the highest potential is a crit Kafka, right? So the goal should be crit, but until you can do that, you should be doing attack body. So if you're like me and you're sitting there walking around with 70% crit rate and 66% crit damage, or if you got 40% crit rate and 90% crit damage, or things like that, you need to just put the attack body on. But if you have enough pieces in order to min-max her and you can get that 60% crit rate, because keep in mind, she doesn't have traces that are going to help her out with the crit rate. She doesn't have a weapon that's going to help her out with the crit rate or crit damage. So you need to build these stats raw. So if you can get that, if you get that 60-120, then you're good to go, and she's going to be dealing more damage overall than she would with the attack body. That's why I look at it as more of not the best, but an alternative. You can go either way. The amount of damage that you miss out on isn't going to be great until you get into the higher levels of crit investment. If you have 70, 140, 70, 150, so on and so forth, the artifacts are just cracked beyond reason, then yeah, you're going to do good right there. Kafka's just going to be cracked. She's going to be much stronger than the people who are using, the attack percent body. That's how that works. That's what I've come to find out. Keep in mind, I'll do my math. I was doing the different additional attack percentages that I have, and the only substat that I have is I only have one attack substat. So it's the more substats you have, the more crit is going to overpower the attack body. But for me, these relics aren't that good, and I don't have attack substats except for this one right here. Everything else, you know, no, even don't count this because this is supposed to be an attack rope. So that's what I've come to find out. Yeah, so Crit is just gonna be Crit's just gonna be a better build when it comes to a min-max Kafka. Let me know what you guys think. How are you guys building your Kafka? Are you gonna try and take the hard road and go for the crit crit Kafka, or are you gonna try and do a attack percentage Kafka and stick with the basics right there? Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think of the findings here. And did you guys know about this crit Kafka thing going on, right? Like the video if you like the content. And subscribe to the channel so you get more content like this. And we're on to here. Legend out.